Hi, everybody. My name is Shairee Arora, and I will be serving as your MCR president for the 2022 to 2023 school year.
Hi guys, my name is Pratiksha, but I also go by Patty, and I will be serving as your upcoming MCR secretary.
Awesome. So today we just want to walk you through our executive board application. Applications are now out. So we just want to walk through the application and, kind of explain what you'll be doing at each part, just in case there's any confusion, so you know exactly what we're looking for.
If you have any more questions or you want to learn about what MCR is, what we do, stuff like that, please don't hesitate to contact our president, Shairee, or our coordinator/advisor, Miss Cherry, at the emails provided below. And you can also visit our website if you want to have a little bit more of an overview of what we do as well.
Yeah, definitely. So our applications are going to be due on Friday, May 27th, and we will be holding some interviews for some people. Um, After that, from May 29th to June 4th. If you don't get an interview, that doesn't mean anything good or anything bad. It's just we want to interview some people that we want to learn a little bit more about. But again, that does not reflect your work or mean anything about the status of your application. So if you scroll down to the first part of our application, we have some links and some materials to help you through this process. So first off, if you would prefer to fill out the application in Spanish, we have the Spanish translated application as well as the same links. Below that, we have a doc that'll take you to the executive board positions and duties. We highly recommend you check this out before choosing your positions. It just explains a little bit of a description for what each position does and their responsibilities, so you know what would work best for you and what you'd be most passionate about. Below that, we have our constitution. It is a pretty long document, but if you want to, dig through that and learn a little bit more about how MCR works, and that is available for you as well. Below that, we have an application criteria. So this kind of really just breaks down what us as officers are going to be specifically looking at in your application and possibly your interview, in terms of what we really want to see from you to decide if you would be a good fit for our executive board, just so that you know what we're looking for when you're filling out that application. And then finally, below that, you will see a YouTube playlist that has some application workshops. So here you'll see a video that our officers from the last year did about interview 101. If you want some tips for that, you'll see this video. You'll see the recording of an event we had about MCR 101 if you want to learn a little bit more about us, as well as a what is MCR video that breaks down each of our departments a little bit more, and you can hear from our directors, just in case you want to hear a little bit about what MCR is before you apply. Yeah.
Okay, so the first part of our application is pretty simple. It's just asking you like your name, your pronouns, just generalized information about you so we know how to contact you and learn more about you. We also do ask some questions about whether or not you have been a part of MCR before, if you've applied, just stuff like that. Please, please, please realize that this does not reflect you or your application at all. It doesn't matter whether or not you've been on the board before. We're just, again, trying to learn more about you and get a sense of like what you may know or don't know. So if you are a returning member, we do have a couple questions asking your previous positions and stuff that you've done on the board before. And yeah, that's all for generalized information.
Yeah, definitely. So after that, whether, if you're not a returning member, then you won't get sent to this section. If you are, then after you fill out those questions, we ask you about your first choice position. So, look at that positions and duties doc and decide, what position you think would be best for you, in terms of what you would like to do the most work for. And then go ahead and click whichever position that is. We have all of them listed here. If there's a position that, you don't see listed here, then please send us an email if we've missed anything, but I believe they're all here. Next, we give you the option if you think that there's a position that would help and you think should be added to our board. We'd love to hear from that. A lot of times that you all have better ideas or things that we haven't thought about, and we'd love to add those to our board. So if you have any ideas for positions that you think we should add to our executive board, you can list them there. If you chose a task force coordinator, we asked you which topics you'd be most comfortable or would like to advocate most about. So you can click as many as you would like. If there's any ones that you think we are missing, then you can add those as well, or any new task forces you think we should create. If you chose organizational liaison, then we ask you which organization you would be most comfortable, being a liaison for. We do recommend that you are a part of the organization that you would like to be a liaison for, just so that we can create that communication, or at least you have plans to join that organization for the upcoming school year. All right, then we just asked you a few questions about Just again, as Patty mentioned, just to get to learn a little bit more about you and, just what kind of student and advocate you are and how you would help our board out. So the first two positions, the first one is just what draws you to this position. Here we just want you to talk about why you're applying to this, what makes you passionate about this position versus other ones that we also have listed. So just tell us a little bit about how you made this decision for your first choice and what really draws you to the position. The next question is really just we want to know what your ideas are for the position, how you will help, make MCR a better place for all students. So just let us know some of your creative and unique ideas for, how you're going to be the best you could be in this position and what specific ideas you have within the position to, really fulfill that role.
Okay, so next up, we do ask you a couple more questions. We ask about your experience that may help you in the specific position that you're applying for. Again, I really want to put an emphasis. We aren't specifically looking for experience in advocacy or in MCR. Things like, theater club, your school's SGA, babysitting, taking care of siblings, anything that really helps you show how you are already a leader in your own community or in your own personal lives. Anything really counts and helps with experience. Um, while we don't want to necessarily put an emphasis on experience, we do want to put an emphasis on time commitment. Being an MCR is a huge time commitment. It's something that you do have to make a priority since we are a huge student organization that's really working on multiple levels to help support all high school students. So we ask you a question about what other time commitments you have and how you're going to make sure you're prioritizing MCR. Because again, we want to see passion, we want to see hard work, we want to make sure that you care about MCR. We have a question specifically for our chief of staff and directors that are applying. Um, Although, again, we don't really care about experience for positions, we do want to emphasize that if you are applying for chief of staff or director, please make sure you are applying with some sort of experience in MCR solely because we want to make sure that you are able to handle leading a whole department or multiple departments as chief of staff is required to do. So those positions really just require a little bit more about you knowing what MCR is on a deeper level.
Yeah, definitely. So once you fill out those questions about your first choice, we do ask for your second choice. A lot of times we get a lot of applications for the same position. And if we think that, okay, maybe you'd be better suited in another position, or we really like you, but your first choice position is already filled, we want to see what else you'd be comfortable being a part of so that we can still, have you join our board. So again, you have the same opportunities for positions, the same thing for task forces, same thing for organizational liaisons, and then we ask you some of the same questions that pertain to the like specifically to your position. For example, the same thing about, okay, what draws you to this position? Why did you choose this position as your second choice compared to other ones? Again, what are your specific ideas under this position that'll help you be successful? And then the same question as Patty mentioned about just if your second position is also a chief of staff or director position, what will you do to ensure productivity and accountability within your department?
So after this, we have more position-specific questions that pertain to just your first choice position below. If you're applying to be a director, please make sure you are answering the questions that correspond with your department. So as you can see here, we have a lot of questions for a lot of positions, but that's okay. Please don't feel intimidated. You're just answering the ones that apply to your first choice. Um, if you will take a look, we also have a couple questions that ask you to attach files or sample things or just anything like that. That is primarily so we can learn more about you and what your goals are, or if you already have something prepared and you want to show us that relating to things like press, media, coordinators, etc. And yeah, I think that is all for the position specific questions.
Yeah, definitely. And then the final part of the application. So I know it seems like a lot of questions, but again, we just want to know as much as we can about you so that we really know like where you would be best in our executive board and what makes you passionate and why you want to join us. Finally, as we had mentioned earlier, we will be asking or we will be scheduling interviews with some candidates, just so that we can hear a little bit more about you and get a little bit more information about you as a person and an advocate. So we do ask you to choose the interview dates that don't work for you, just so that we can interview, we can, when we're creating our interview schedule, we can make sure that you are available. We ask that you be as flexible as possible and give us as many dates to work with as you can, just so that it is as easy as possible for us to create that interview schedule. So you just fill out, what dates would not work for you. So then we know, where to not schedule you. And then, yeah, that would be it. After you click submit, you'll see this little thank you message. And again, so the application closes on Friday, May 27th. So by Saturday night, we will let you know if you have been chosen for an interview. Again, that does not necessarily reflect positively or negatively. It just means we want to learn more about you. And yeah, Patty, if you want to talk about the other materials.
Okay, so the last part of our application after you submit your actual like written application is if you have any other materials at all that you want to show to us officers about you as a person in your application. So like this can include resumes, letters of recommendation, previous work that you've done. Please email them to mcr.sga@gmail.com and make sure you put your entire full name and then put exec board applications materials. We will use this to, consider your application and look at it. But also remember that if you don't submit anything, that's totally fine. Like this does not reflect positively or negatively about you. This is completely optional. And yeah, I think that's all for our applications. Thank you so, so much for taking the time to look at this video and learn more about us.
Yeah, we're so excited. We hope that you all apply. We'd love to have you join our executive board next year. And yeah, we can't wait to see your applications and work with you for the upcoming year. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye.